You have to stop posting like a guy if you want to hypnotize your audience, make more sales, and ultimately survive this next era of social media. Over the last few months, Shebly Sapp's has made me $300,000, and it can do the exact same thing for you. And no, it's not about posting your man boobs. It's about posting like a girl. To put it simply, women happen to post entirely different content than what typical guys are doing. I mean, if you put your profile and their profile side by side, you'd realize that there are some key differences. And that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. And this style of content is what the largest info sellers and coaches are currently doing. They mastered the ability of building trust and belief in them through a more authentic content type. And not just being a guy who is giving away all the value for free because that's what you've been told to do. And I know what you're thinking, Brett, why are you leeching off of Shebly Sapp's tits? Well, to be honest, I feel morally obligated to share with my audience of what's just working and the method that I've stolen from her to make over $30,000 in a month. And it just so happens to be a great title. By the way, she's awesome, really talented, smart as a whip, so all the praise goes to her. But in this video, I'll be going over Shebly's entire content strategy, why you need to be posting like a girl yourself, and most importantly, the last part is how you can do this today so you can start to attract more buyers for your info product or coaching program. And look, this isn't a funnel breakdown of hers. There's plenty of that online. What this is really a content strategy that most people aren't really talking about. And it's what's needed to survive this new era of coaching. So let's get into it. Why do we want to post like a girl anyway? Well, the people who are kind of copying this style here are really smart. Because a lot of the bigger people in our space, like Justin Saunders, Matt Gray, Ravi Abdallah, these people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, they are all screaming that we are in a trust recession. Now, I totally believe we're in a trust recession as well. But the problem is people aren't really asking what is a trust recession or why are we even in a trust recession or what happens in a trust recession. Well, what is happening here, the reason why we are in a trust recession is because our prospects have high skepticism. They're beginning to question authority, and they're taking longer times to make a buying decision. What might have taken a week to purchase your program now takes 60 days because trust needs to be built up. But ultimately, what is really happening and why trust recession is happening is because there's a loss of belief. Prospects are in full-blown skepticism mode. They don't know who to trust, what to believe, or which product to choose. And what doesn't fix a loss in belief isn't this idea of, hey, we need to create more content. We need to put people into an ecosystem and nurture them. No, this is causing us to be in a content recession because all you're doing is value-driven posts that don't end up converting. Essentially, value does not equal value anymore. It has been diluted. And to prove my point here, it's just simple supply versus demand. Coaches and info sellers and business owners are the red line here. More and more of them are entering the market. So it's causing the market to be saturated. And the attention and trust buyer intent is going down. This is what's causing a recession. And all these people who are creating more content, entering the market, they're all doing value-based content. So the value of value has been diluted. Nobody wants value anymore. So what is the fix? I was doing some competitor research when I was noticing value content not being as value anymore. And you should be doing competitor research yourself as well. But ultimately, I decided to step outside my traditional competitors, as one does. And I wanted to see what the women were doing in my space. And that led me to an epiphany moment. The way they create content is entirely different from what guys typically do. The bros here on the left are just straight value, 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 value. They're essentially trying to teach their way to sales. The women, on the other hand, they are completely different. It's me, value, value, me, value, value, me, value. Entirely different way of creating. And what they're doing is believing their way to sales. And what I mean by that is that they're getting others to believe in them, to be interested in them. So why should you post like a girl? You develop more trust, more connection, more belief, and more attention. Ultimately, women have mastered the game of attention. They are extremely good at getting people interested in them. And if we look at Shebly Sapp's entire content breakdown, most of this concept is coming from her videos. And we need to understand what she's really doing to get the bigger picture of how to post like a girl. If we look at her brand identity, Shebly here isn't necessarily selling a course. She's selling who you become and the life along with that. That is identity. She's extremely good at her brand identity. So this is things that are made up of materialism, travel, girl boss / feminine strength, confidence, the Miami party girl, and this whole entire lifestyle design. And that is what she's catering to. That is what she's selling. And understanding this is the first stepping stone to understand how to post like a girl. The next thing that we need to understand too, along with that, is the identity shift that she does within her videos. So she's speaking to the before identity, which is women who have no financial freedom. They're stuck in their 9-to-5. They have no ability to travel. They have no high value skills and wants luxury, but they can't afford it. The after image that she's selling is high value skill that drives significant income, location freedom, travel freedom, financial independence, and a life of luxury. So this is the shift that she's making through her content and the identity that she's speaking to. So when it comes to her content types, you will begin to understand this is what she's showing. This is her. This identity is somebody to be interested in. And she's really, really good at getting people interested in her through a couple of different types of content. So the first one we have is B-roll plus music. This is typically made up of lifestyle type stuff where she's giving updates, has the materialism in there, the travel, the lifestyle design. She has text and music in the background talking about what she's doing for that day, basically. The other type is her educational content. Now, I don't want to say here like you don't want to do value at any point. She does do value content. That's important to have within your content strategy. The thing that she's doing here is sales education, the beliefs needed in order to be this identity. That's really interesting. We'll talk about that at the end here. And it's very authoritative driven content. Next, she's doing yapping. With this, it's education, opinions, updates. So this is sales education, her opinions, beliefs, and values. Next is the life updates. This is where she's getting people really, really interested in her, capturing attention, not necessarily trying to sell yet, but capturing attention, making herself position as the authority, as somebody to follow along. And when she's doing updates, this is updates about her relationship, travel, luxury. Ultimately, Shebly is building herself a world, almost like a reality TV show. Think of Kardashians. Finally, she's sharing her story. She actually has a lot of these types of videos on her account where she is trying to establish a connection with her audience by showcasing herself in her audience's shoes. So if we go back to the before identity, no financial freedom, stuck in a 9-to-5, wants luxury but can't afford it. She's showcasing herself that she is human, which establishes connections, and stories also are a great way to establish connection and get people interested in her. And then she's showing them that they can do the things that she's doing through her story. She's selling the belief on her and her way of doing things through her personal story. So like I said, stories drive a deep connection, shows it's possible, and allows the viewers to make the shifts needed in order to want to do the things that she's doing. And so what we're noticing from her content here is that really 60 to 80% of her posts are about her, not about information. So her beliefs, her stories, her life updates, her world. She is selling herself. And that is exactly what you need to do. It's not about info. Sometimes it's about getting people sold on you as the one to provide the transformation that you're providing with your info product or coaching program. So how do you do this yourself? How do you post like a girl so you can get viewers interested in you, trusting you, and ultimately deciding to get their transformation from you? Like I said, you can't teach your way to sales. Think about it this way. Like, you can be a teacher, right? We've all had teachers that we loved, hopefully, and we've all had teachers that we didn't like. The teachers that we didn't like, sure, they gave you good information, they taught you, but they didn't establish connection. And that's what we want to do. Think of the cool teacher. The cool teacher, you actually learned a little bit about them. They were cool. They've built rapport with you. They've shared personal stories. You connected with them. And that's ultimately what we're really trying to do here. So step number one, before we start creating content, we need to start developing out your brand identity. Just like how Shebly has this identity that she's selling, and she showcases that through her life, through her beliefs, her stories. We need to do the same. So you need to figure out what is the ultimate thing that the person wants. It's not about the transformation necessarily. It's about the person who they want to become. For example, if you are selling fitness and you're targeting busy dads, well, that person ultimately wants to become the role model dad for their kids. So that's the identity. Who do they become? The role model. All right. From that, we can get into step two and showcasing our stories of how we ourselves came into that identity. So share your story. Humans crave stories, like I said. And through stories, we receive knowledge, advice, lessons, and connection that's passed down. So share your hero's journey on how you achieved the identity that you're selling. Share the struggles you've been through. This establishes connection, because if you're always at the top, just like how a teacher might always be at the top, you don't connect with them unless they start sharing some struggles they had or a personal story. Think of a boss. They can be an authoritative figure, but you might not like them unless they start to establish connection with you. Also share a story of what just has happened, within the past month or week or even day in your life, and some mini stories with some lessons attached to it. Quick hack here. Number one, tie your story to that aspirational identity that your viewers want. Show how you were in their identity, you were a type of person, and then show the process of you achieving a new identity. Hack number two, use video reels to share your story. So this here is actually performing really well. It's not a carousel. It's video reels with just text of your story. Shebly does this all the time. This was her video here. This performs really well, gets people super engaged. So that's a little hack for yourself. Step number three, give some life updates. Ultimately, what this is doing is creating FOMO. If you share your day, major life updates, new purchases, daily routine, people feel like they're missing out. And it's something that they can tune into, and they become interested on your life. Remember, you want to get people sold on you. This does that. Step number four, use some photo dumps here. Once again, showcase your viewers that you are doing things that they want to be doing. Travel, luxury, food. If you are, once again, that fitness guy who's helping out busy dads, showcase you spending time with your family and doing things with your family and being a role model for your family. So some photo dumps are really important. And then step number five here, I would say, is the most important. Your identity beliefs. So Shebly does this a lot through her yapping type of content, where she gives away beliefs, because beliefs are the ultimate form of sharing your inner thoughts, not anyone else's. These are your beliefs. When you share your beliefs, viewers become interested in you. So this would be things like your core beliefs, your worldviews, your way of doing things, your values, morals, and ethics. Beliefs are so important to get people interested in you. When you share a belief and somebody aligns with that belief, they like you even more, And then if you end up shifting somebody's belief by sharing your belief, how you think about things, they become more connected and attached to you. It's the ultimate form of sharing you, because a big thing that makes up your identity is your beliefs. So these are the 5 steps here to be posting like a girl. All you're really doing at the end of the day is getting the attention on you. Women have mastered the game of attention. Check out some of your women competitors and see how they're posting content. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.